Hey y'all, I'm back and we got a lot to unpack. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, I am Asha Sarish, your favorite life coach, and we are getting into Harlem, Season 3, Episode 3. If you don't know, I'm talking about Harlem. It's on Prime Video. I've already given an overview of the series. I already got into Season 3, Episode 1 and 2. You can check that out on my page. And now we're going to be talking about Season 3, Episode 3. Spoiler alerts, I'm going to be talking about details of the show. So if you don't want to know, don't keep watching. Come back and let's talk about it. I first want to again acknowledge how I love that they incorporate real issues that we as the people be going through. So on this episode, season 3, episode 3, Camille, played by Megan Good, she's pregnant. They've decided to keep their baby, and she needs prenatal care. But she also just quit her job at Columbia, which now makes her a freelancer. And she finds out at a doctor's appointment at the front desk that she no longer has insurance, it's no longer covered. She sees that there's um, a charge for the visit, a charge for the exam, a charge for the blood work. Her bill comes up to $1,600, which she has to pay out of pocket. And she starts stressing out because she's like, wow, my insurance is lapsed. I thought I was covered to the end of the year. She starts panicking. She starts trying to figure out what in the world is we gonna do. So that becomes her stress and strife, trying to figure out where she gonna get the funds to be able to take care of her medical bills during this pregnancy. And just so y'all know, I'm going in the order of my notes, which is the order of the episode. So we might be jumping back and forth. We will be jumping back and forth with storylines and characters. So just keep up. But she does start to have a breakdown in communication with Ian. Like, he's not really giving her the type of energy that she wants to receive. So that's the theme of this episode as well, them trying to get on track with communication. This blossoming relationship between Ty and Eva is an example of mixing business and pleasure, but they're trying to work on it. They're really getting into their feels for each other. And Ty has decided that she's going to be on a celibacy journey. She's trying to turn a new leaf. She already been told Eva that she's toxic, that she's had issues with previous relationships, and now she's trying to take it slow. And she, they're kissing and they're being intimate and getting close with each other, but not going all the way. And Eva lets her know that she's worth the wait. You know, I can relate to the celibacy journey. I'm almost 5 years in. In a couple weeks will be 5 years. So I understand that, um, that desire to want to make sure that you are breaking your celibacy for the right person in the right time, at the right time. So this is new for Ty, but she is standing firm in her journey. And Eva said that she's worth the wait. So that's what they're doing. I like Eva for Ty because she is different. I mentioned before in one of the other recaps that she sees her for who she is at the core. She's not judging her based off of her past. She keeps telling her to, you know, continue on the journey that she's on. Ty keeps mentioning the old Ty. She's like, the old Ty would have had you spread eagle on this couch. And Eva's like, well, I'm pretty sure the new Ty is worth the wait. So she's just continuing to hold space for her, to be supportive, and to just really accept her for who she is. So we talked about this already, that Angie and Michael are engaged to be married. And Angie wants this big production because Angie is big energy. She's big Leo energy. I'm a Leo too, but she's got me beat when it comes to dramatics and, you know, extraness. But she's big energy. She likes to do it big. She's dramatic. She's extra. She's, a theater person. So she wants this big, extravagant wedding. And you can see that Michael is not comfortable with it, but he doesn't quite tell her why immediately. So you see the conflict of Angie wanting to just jump on the big venue and Michael like, we need to talk about this. We need to have a conversation. And Angie's kind of looking at him like, talk about what? I done already told you what I wanted. But he decides to tell the wedding planner, give us a day to talk about it. Another budding relationship, or should I say situationship, is Quinn and Seth, I think is his character's name, played by Kofi. And they're, getting it on. They have their little intimate connection. They smash buddies, basically, little friends with benefits. But she has also become his stylist. And since then, she has gotten all kind of people reaching out to her, wanting them to style her. So business is booming for her. Then all of a sudden, his old stylist decides she want to pop up and make a live video calling her like a thief of her client. This person is played by B. Simone. So once she goes live and talk about how Quinn stole her client, everybody on the internet starts dragging Quinn. Keep up now, keep up. We're going in the order of the episode. So Camille is stressed out about money, right? She needs to pay her medical bills. She's writing a book. So she decides to go talk to the editor to see if she can get another advance. The editor has already given her an advance before she started writing the book. She's only submitted 3 chapters and she has to submit like 30 chapters before she's done with the book. So the editor is a white lady and she is just over talking her and cutting her off and finishing her sentences with what she's trying to say. She's interrupting her to tell her like, "Oh, you wanted notes," or what, just assuming that she was there for something else and criticizing her and giving her feedback and whatever. So she finally decides to ask her for the advance, and the woman is like, "No, ma'am. You get another advance when you submit the entire book." So she tries to, go back and forth with her to negotiate. The woman is not hearing it. So it boils down to she doesn't get the advance. Mind you, Camille met up with the girls and they were asking her, like, "Have you asked Ian?" And she's like, "No, I want to handle this on my own." She was feeling away because Ian is over there with his woman, you know, in his relationship, and she's kind of like over it as far as bothering him or asking him for anything. So she hasn't really tapped into the fact that she can lean on him. All right, keep up. We back on Ty and Eva. So they were on a date and they were walking. I believe they were at the aquarium. I didn't put that in my notes. I was just watching. But Ty and Eva were having a conversation, and Eva was telling Ty about her coming out story. So then when she asked Ty what her coming out story was, she's like, "I don't have one. Uh, I just left home. I just packed up and left Georgia and didn't look back. And it's been 10 years." And she's like, "Well, when the last time you talked to your parents?" And she was like, "At breakfast the day I left." So you remember in the other seasons, her husband that she was married to when she lived in Georgia came to find her after he had been called as her emergency contact. So we knew about her family back in Georgia, but we didn't really know that she just up and left. So this was a red flag to Eva. She's like, sounds like avoidance. Because not only had she avoided the whole tough conversation with her family, she also was avoiding the conversation, getting deeper with the conversation with Eva at the moment. So she's red flags are waving that she has an avoidant attachment style. So the wedding planner calls Angie and tells her another couple is looking at the date and the venue that she wants, and she needs to let her know now or never. So Angie quickly tells her, "We want it." She gives her fiance's name and his credit card number, and she books it without discussing it with him. Not cool, wouldn't recommend. You don't do that, baby. You do not make a decision that big without discussing it with your partner. So eventually, later on that night, he shows up at home and he's wondering why he has a $50,000 charge on his Amex. So she explains to him that, the venue was almost going to get taken. So I just jumped on it. So he opens up to her and says, you never asked why I didn't want this big wedding. And the reason is I don't have any family that cares enough to show up for me in that way. So being in a huge venue, seeing all of your people there, and then compared to my little side of whoever's going to show up, it would just shine light on the fact that I don't have people to show up for me. So she finally gets it and finally decides to compromise. When this man has been asking her to compromise the whole time. So Angie, I ain't like that. You got to talk to your man and discuss these things. Quinn decides to drop Seth as a client to appease this stylist played by B. Simone and stop the people from dragging her on the internet. I don't necessarily agree with that. I guess there was some morals involved with taking people's clients, but if you don't show up for your client and your client is available, then he's up for grabs. No, I ain't agree with that, but that's what she did. They smashed. Stay tuned for the next video for this update.